Welcome everyone. Here's another Lemax Halloween, as they call this, Mount Gloom Observatory. Let's turn this puppy on. Now, this didn't last too long. As I said, I play these, generally 12, 13 hours a day where I have them in my office on in a group of them. This is supposed to spin up here. You get this skull that spins around. We'll show that in a minute, but again, it's still really beautiful. It's an observatory type item. And let's hear the message as we go in and look at it. You can see the fantastic carving you have in here, the sculpture of this. All the little details. I mean, you can look at these things for a long period of time and to look at all the details and appreciate them. So, Lemax has all these little story type and noise sound effects. The problem is it's very annoying if they're on all the time, and they're a little bit too short on top of it, so it's not very interesting. But you can turn it down with the switch here, so you can turn you can turn it off or just turn it on so the lights come on, and that's how I leave it on most of the time. So let's look at this cool kind of graveyard thing here. You can see these skeletons here, a door opening up. It's kind of like a light tower. It says observatory, but as I said, the actual, let's go up, that's where it plugs in, obviously, and we'll go up to the top here. But let's look at what it looks like here, which is really cool. This is the skull, and you have this reaper coming out of there, and of course you have an observation deck. But what you have here is something that... this is supposed to spin. This turns around, and then you giving it the action feature. And that's very typical of Lemax, is they give you that extra bit, and that's what you pay for compared to other Halloween type statuaries. Let's go in the back here and look at this. You can see over here we've got this little tower here with a skull. We've got function of an engine gauge there. You've got this nice copper, and of course you've got this, which has the light up eyeball, and this is spinning around usually. This never lasted very long, so I'm assuming that this, if you get something like this, you're going to have a problem with that. And that's very typical of Lemax. They will last for a long time. Depending on what they are, but the motors go, especially if they're actually used like I use them, which is as a decorative and have them plugged in every day. But the lights tend to stay on for years and years. Let's go around the front here again and take a look. You've got these different lights. Now, these are very fragile. You've got a lot of little things sticking out on these here. If you pressurize any of these, they will break. This is ceramic, from what I can tell. I don't think it's even resin. So you have to be careful there. If you drop these, bang them, hit something into it, you will damage and break them. And, of course, the lights go for years and years. But the mechanical mechanisms, as I've just mentioned, the turning of something like this, or other things, doors that open up, well, that wears out usually within, if you're using them daily for 6-8 hours, they're going to go out within a year or so, most of them, or even less. But the lights stay on, so it's kind of cool. So this is Mount Gloom. Observatory. And they have many, many of these. Some have been retired. They come out with new ones every year. This is what's sold at Michael's craft store. Every year they have a display of these. I don't know if it's all year round now or not, but they have a display of these around Halloween. And if you watch the sales and stuff, a lot of times you can get these scooped up at some good prices. If you buy them on the secondary market, things get to be expensive and you have to be careful. As I said, all this stuff is very fragile. So once you put them in place, you don't want to mess with them. And then, of course, there may be some maintenance involved with all of this. Let's get it kind of here. Trying to get... But this is a pretty large. This is about 14 inches tall.